Hi vlog. Welcome to the final episode in my college audition experience. It has been a hot minute. And I have committed and I have posted about my commitments, and in a week I graduate from high school. So there's been a lot. If you're interested in that, I have so many other videos I'd be posting all the time, so go watch those. But we committed, and today is our senior day. I'm wearing my Hartt school at the University of Hartford. I'm going into acting, and I just have so many things to talk about. If you've been following along this process, I was going for musical theater originally. I wanted to be in New York. There has been so much change and so much new information and stuff, so I'm very excited to share. Yeah, welcome. So let's get started. So the goal of this video is kind of just to talk about some experiences I had, try to now that I'm fully out of this process, I have so much to talk about. And you know what, I think I might make a Q&A video about it, especially because all my experience is still recent and stuff. So if you have absolutely any questions about college auditions, please put them in the comments. I'll probably post the same prompt on my Instagram and TikTok. Go follow those. They're Ella_Grace_Schumacher. Same as my YouTube, or same spelling as my YouTube. But I probably am thinking about doing a Q&A and just being able to answer for juniors and all the other underclassmen now that I'm done with this process and I'm out of the woods. Because I am out of the woods. The only thing on my mind right now is graduation. These are just going to kind of be some crazy stories, some crazy things that happened to me during this process. Just kind of as a fun way to celebrate everything I accomplished. And these can be unifieds. These are going to be training. These are going to be just a whole crap ton of stuff. So I think I'm going to start off with one of my favorite stories in the absolute whole wide world. And I've told this to my friends so many times. So friends, you probably know this. People who know me probably know this story. But this is about a unifieds audition. If you think that you will have, or if you have had a bad unified audition,
oh honey, you don't even know what's coming your way.
So throughout this entire process, I have kept the names of schools I've auditioned for private. I'm still going to continue to do that. So that's just your kind of disclaimer for this video. Okay, starting off. This was my first walk-in for unifieds. And again, if you don't know any of this lingo or anything, go check out one of my other videos. She's raspy today. I'm sick. It's allergy season. So this was the first one I did, and I had just done an audition, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do this audition, blah, 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 blah. So this school, it's not as well as a known school. So I had never heard of the school up until auditioning for it. But it was they were doing musical theater and acting auditions, and then whatever. And so they had 2 rooms going. So they had a lot of people in this area because everybody wanted to go audition, obviously. And so I get in, or I walk up and I'm like, hey, can I do a walk-in? And they're like, can you go right now? And I'm like, yeah, sure. So I legit sit down, I get my speaker because they didn't have an accompanist, and then they come and get me. It's one guy at a table, and he's the head of the school musical theater department or whatever. And so we're talking, we're making small talk. Nothing was out of the normal at the beginning. So he finally takes a look at my resume, and he skips over the shows and goes straight to your training. And he goes down the list and goes, oh, I know this person. I know this person. I know this person. I know this person. He knows everybody in my training portion of the resume. This school was in New York. He lives on East Coast. He knew the biggest chunk of my majority of my resume. So I'm just oh, yeah, that's cool. I love them. Blah, 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 blah. And then he's like,
I'm texting them all right now, telling them I have one of your students in here.
What? So he's texting my coaches, my trainers, all the people I've done acting camps with. This could have been a year ago. This could have been 5 years ago. He's texting them and telling them that I'm at his audition. And I'm like, wow. I'm like, yeah, cool. So we're having this conversation, and I don't even know where it's going at this point. But I'm like, you know what? It's fun. It's fun. It's fun to have those connections. It's fun to be in the business enough where you can have these connections or whatever. So I'm like, great. So we finally finished that fiasco. And he is like, okay, what song are you going to sing for me today? And I'm like, I will be singing Calm from Ordinary Days. That was my audition song. And he's still looking at my resume, and he kind of was like,
oh, yeah, I helped write that song and produce that original show.
Excuse me?
The composer, Adam Guam, called me up and was like, hey, I'm producing this show. Here's a couple of songs I wrote.
And I am sitting there. He is still texting people that I know. He is telling me that he wrote the song I'm about to sing for him. This is my first walk-in. This is like day one of actual Unifieds. And I'm just like, oh my God. Oh my God. So I sing the song. He's like, you sing it great, whatever. I never ended up fully applying to that school because I had so many other things going on with Unifieds. And that school just, in the audition, it was a really cool experience and it was a really great memory. But with all the other options I had on the table with walk-ins, that's story number one. My next story didn't take place during my senior year, but this was the summer of going into my senior year. College Audition Edge took place in Pearl Studios, and for those of you who don't know, there's a bunch of like Broadway rehearsals and stuff that happen there. A lot of Broadway auditions happen there. Meg Donnelly, when she was training for Moulin Rouge, she was at Pearl Studios. We were on this group chat, and like how it worked was that everybody had their own group. So like we were a group of like 60 students, and all the students were part of their own color group. And so I was Team Red, and we had been held over lessons for like a little bit like longer than we thought, and we had to go to our lunch break or our dinner break. The college professor is still working with one of the girls, but we're all kind of like, we're hungry, we're done. We open our phone and there's a text on the big group chat with like everybody, and it's, holy cow, Cheryl Porter, Mama Cheryl is in She's in Pearl Studios, and they send a photo of her with the group. And we're all still sitting down. So we're like, holy cow, we missed her. We missed Mama Cheryl. And we're like talking about her or whatever. And so we finally wrap up the lesson and we're like, oh shoot, like we missed her, but it's like, it's okay. Like maybe she'll still be around or whatever. I open the door of like the room that we're in, like the rehearsal studio or whatever. I take 2 steps outside, and we're kind of like at that, and we're at like one end of a hallway, and then there's like the rest of the hallway, and then there's a corridor. And so I stand out and I'm going to walk to our next room, and I literally get 2 steps out of the door, and like a goddess coming around the corner is Mama Cheryl. And I dropped my bag, and I didn't even really know what to say at that point, and I was just like, oh my God, it's her. And so then like I gave her a hug. I was like crying. I start singing for her. I see all your videos and listen to me and take it in every single word I say. And then she started singing with me, and I'm sitting there with her, and I am like, oh my God. What is college auditions? What are college auditions? The last story I want to share is about my audition for the school I am committing to. I'm going to tell the story about my audition experience with the University of Hartford, because I think knowing what you want is also very important. So University of Hartford, I've been with at the beginning. I got a call back right away. So like they weren't a walk-in. They deferred me to acting. And so right from the beginning. So I was just like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. But like an audition's an audition, and any audition is a chance to work on your material and practice. And that's what I really wanted for Unifieds, was just to go in and do as much as I can. And if I needed to be pulled back, or if I was told no, like I had safety nets to fall into. I went into this audition for acting, introduced myself, I did whatever. And then something that hadn't really happened before happened. I am from Minneapolis, Minnesota. I've done shows in Minneapolis. It is a beautiful, beautiful city. I love Minneapolis, and I will forever love Minneapolis. And keep in mind that this was March. This was February, March that we were at Unifieds. And so I go in, we're talking, whatever. And this audition, I think out of all the auditions I went to, because they're always like, oh, where are you from? Tell us where you're from. And so I'm like, oh, I'm from Minneapolis, Minnesota. They like stopped me for my spiel. And the head was just kind of like, whoa, like, how are you? How's everything been? Again, keep in mind, this was February, March. So Minneapolis has been struggling for a couple of months with events going on. And I don't want to talk about it on this channel really, because I don't want to get into the politics. But this is one of the reasons I ended up choosing the school. So I am going to kind of talk about it. But they're like, how are you doing? And I'm like, it's hard. It's really, really hard. It's hard being away from home. It's hard having friends who are struggling so much and feeling like I'm powerless and I can't do anything like for it. It's hard watching the news. It's hard talking to people. I'm like, it's hard. And so we really just had a moment where like theater didn't matter, acting didn't matter. And this was well into my audition, and they were the first, and I think they were 1 out of 2 people who actually asked me how I was doing with what was happening in my town, in my city. So that was just like a really good moment. And so then I did my monologue, and they redirected me, and they were like, now I want you to give this monologue as if you were talking to an ICE agent. So that was just the range of the monologue. So they had me do it, and I actually like started crying, because again, this is the first time I've actually like done anything with anything. And so I finished the monologue, and the head of the theater department is like, you have a very nice voice. You have a very strong voice, like complimenting me and stuff. And like, that's typically what happens after an audition. People are going to compliment you regardless if they want you or not. They're going to tell you things, and it's like, oh, thank you. Like, you kind of have to accept it. But I was crying a little bit. And so he asked me, he's like, are you going to come to the Q&A? And there's other people in this room for this. And he's like, are you going to come to the Q&A? And I'm like, yes, I'm going to come to the Q&A. And so he's like, perfect, we'll see you then. So time passes, and I'm like, whoa, this is really, really cool. And so then we go to the Q&A later that day. We're talking, we're learning, and my mom's with me this time. So like, she's learning all about Hartt, and they're taking notes and whatever. And we're finding out that you can get to go to London, you can get all these opportunities, you get all this training, you get all these connections you make. You're close to New York, but not overly close. And so we finish up, and they're like, okay, we have a dance audition. And so I was still kind of like a little bit sour, because I was like, I really wanted to do musical theater, and I don't know if I want to do acting. So we're packing up and whatever, and I pick up a chair to help or whatever. And the same guy, the director, comes over to me. He grabs my arm, and he's like, please, let us do it. And my mom's standing next to me, and this is her favorite story to tell. And he looks over at me, and he goes, you will be hearing from us. And I think there was more that was said, but like, that was kind of all I can really like remember at the moment. And there's a part in my musical theater college audition vlog where I'm like, I can't say anything, but good things are happening. I filmed that video right after that whole situation happened, when I'm like alone in the elevator, and I'm like, I can't say anything, but good things are happening. Good things were happening. And so it's really exciting. It's really cool. Anyway, I thought I would just share some of those fun stories. I have a lot of editing to do with this video that hopefully you won't see. So thank you for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your day.